So we're going to do a cat spay today. You visualize the umbilicus, and you can also recheck where the umbilicus is by feeling the last rib. So the umbilicus is here. We're going to take about 3 fingers down from the umbilicus and go for a small incision on the midline. A nice bold cut that goes through all the layers. There's some vessels here which you want to avoid, but if they're unavoidable, you can incise them as well. Take your rat tooth and your scissors and then just gently dissect the subcut a little bit, not too much dissection, just a bit. So you see we're not removing too much of this tissue. And then you want to visualize the linea alba and grab the linea alba. Once you've grabbed the linea alba, secure it well so that you have a good grip of it with your rat tooth forceps, and you want to go for a stab incision. Your stab incision is going to be done with the help of your 22 gauge scalp blade, and you go in, up and out and you see how high I'm holding it. This is to make sure that we don't injure any internal organs with our stab incision. Now we're through into the abdomen and you're going to start cutting. The vessel here that's bleeding, nothing to be worried about. You increase your incision on both sides, and then you want to go hunting for the uterus. That was the momentum, so you want to put that back in and try again. Pause करते हैं, मिलेगा तब one. Now that you have got the uterus, you need to go towards the ovary. Cats have a naked ovary. That means they are not embedded in a bursa, unlike that of dogs. So like you see, the ovary is here, and I'm going to go below that. The suspensory ligament isn't much of a problem like it is in dogs, because this doesn't require stretching, as the ones in canine requires a bit of a stretch. Here you can simply pull it up and there's enough space for you to put 2 clamps and ligatures. So you find a window in the avascular part and place your first clamp, and then take another clamp and through the same window place that about a 1/4 centimeter above. For our ligatures, we're going to be using catgut size 10. Take your needle drivers and we want to go for double ligatures. So we go below both clamps through the window that you've created. Go below both the clamps in this way, and you go for a square knot. Make sure it's about a 1/4 centimeter below your lower clamp, and then go for and you see how I'm holding the clamps up and I'm going for the ligature about 1/4 centimeter below my lower clamp. I tighten that and then go for the second one. You want a tower of 6 knots. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold both ends, cut. Next ligature, is going to be on the crush of the lower clamp. You go below both the clamps through the same window and above the second clamp. So your second ligature comes almost above. It comes on top of the clamp, and then you release the clamp, and then you lig it. That's your ligature. Tighten that, and then go for about 5 more on top, so you have a tower of 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and then you cut both ends off. Take a straight clamp, place the straight clamp on the proper ligament, and then you take your blade and cut above the clamp, making sure that you have the entire ovary and you haven't left any of it down. Then for checking, you hold your rat-tooth forceps in your non-dominant hand, hold your pedicle. We have the first horn out, we go for the second horn, we pick that up. Be careful, it's quite slippery, and hold it gently. And this is the ovary on the other side. Is it visible? Yeah. And then you go for a slight tug so you can get it out. And then in the same way, make a window in the avascular part and clamp down there. Make sure you don't clamp the skin by mistake. And then through the same window, you want to put another clamp very gently, 1 click always. Take the catguard, wind size 10, and go below both clamps through the window and around. Go for a square knot, that is 1 throw. Keep that there, and you go about a 1/4 centimeter below your lower clamp. You see the distance, it needs to be a good amount of distance between your clamp and your ligature so that your ligature is secure. And then you want to go for a tower of 6 knots again. That's done, and you can cut this off and go for your next ligature. Again, go below both clamps through the same window and around above the lower clamp. You go for a square knot again. Make a loose ligature on the clamp like so. Take off the clamp, and you see the crush, ligate on that crush. So there's a good distance between the clamp and the ligature, and between the 2 ligatures as well. And a tower of 6 knots, and we're through with the second ovary. Again, take a straight clamp, place it on the proper ligament above the ovary, and 1 click, and take your blade, cut above the lower clamp. Make sure you have the whole ovary. Can you see? The whole ovary is out, and we have a little bit of space to spare, and we're going to check that. Take a mop, check your ligature, place it down. Now you gently pull, tug at the uterus so you have the bifurcation out. You can choose to put clamps here, or you can choose to just do ligatures without clamps. This doesn't seem like a very fragile uterus to me, so I'm just going to go ahead and clamp. So you have 2 clamps with a good amount of distance in between, and we're going to go for 2 ligatures per usual. Again, size 10 catguard. You want to go below both clamps and around. Make a square knot. Get it 1/2 centimeter down, 1/2 to 1/4 centimeter. This has to be a good amount of distance and you go for a square knot. Tighten the first, tighten the second well, and then go for another 4, so you have a total of 6 knots. It's fairly straightforward spay. Very few differences between the cat and the dog. And then you make a loose knot on the lower clamp like we did before. You see a crush here, the crush, and ligate on that crush. So you have any of the micro vessels obliterated too, and the ligature is as tight as it can be, just for some extra safety in your ligatures. And then you place your curve clamp on top and cut between the 2 clamps, and your ovisterectomy is done. For checking, hold on to the pedicle, release the clamp, take your mop the area and visualize for any bleeding. Nothing there, let it go. You can check for a little bit of bleeding inside, visualize inside as well. Yeah, this is clear, and now we go for closure. We're going to be using size 20 PGA for closure, for a 3-layer closure of muscles, subcut and skin. Let's start with the muscle. We're going to go for a simple continuous pattern. So you start a little bit before your incision on intact muscle, and you want to go for a surgeon's knot. And about 6 to 7 square knots on top. Cut the short end and continue. Again, it's a simple continuous suture pattern. You've got to make sure that each of your bites are equidistant and that you tighten them well. You need to hold it up high so that you don't injure any of the internal abdominal organs. Hold it tight. So the incisions close, and then you go for, so you see they are quite equidistant and tight, and there's no gap in between from on any of the side, and we are taking fascia on all sides, on both sides. Now to close off, we're going to leave a loop, tighten this, leave a loop, and go for a surgeon's knot. Tighten that well and go for another 6 or 7 square knots on top of this. I'm going to cut off the short end, loop and continue. I'm going to go for a simple continuous in the subcut as well. Lesser number of bites because it's a very thin subcut. And you don't want to introduce too much suture material because that goes against the principles of surgery. So you want to have less number of bites and that do the job. Just another one and we close. This is all subcut bleeding. And cut off this. Don't want to make it too bulky, otherwise it becomes difficult to have it bury. So for burying the snort, you want to point the needle in the opposite direction towards the tail of the cat, and you hold it up and go a little bit further away and come out at the tip of the incision. Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's completely buried or not, it just shouldn't interfere when you're going in for your intradermals. So for intradermals, again, start at the very tip of the incision. Take a small bite. The first 2 bites need to be relatively smaller, about 2 millimeters. Start right where you finished, and then you can start taking a little bit bigger bites. 3 to 4 millimeters. And as you can see, the skin is quite delicate, but at the same time you need to put that amount of force to get through to the intradermal. You need to be quite gentle with your rat tooth, otherwise there's going to be these scars left, or marks of your rat tooth. So be quite gentle. And we're just progressing like so, and the last couple of bites remaining here. Just the last 2. Take this bite till the end. A little bit more maybe. And another bite, and then we go for an Aberdeen knot. I'm sorry. Okay, so I leave a loop, and then I'm going to go for something called the Aberdeen knot. So you have a tag, you have a loop, and you have a tag. You pull the tag through the loop and then pull the lower end to tighten downward. You have a loop again, you have a tag. Pull the tag through the loop, pull the lower end, tighten. Loop, tag, pull and pull the lower end to get the knot down to tighten. Loop, tag, pull the lower end, tighten. Now that we have 4, we go through and to lock it up. Our last bite was on that side. We're going to bury on this side, on my side. And you go through a gap. Go a little bit further away and pull. Yeah, that's it gone. That's buried. And you have this way complete. And you can just take your scissors and cut. That's it.